We could give this stuff away.
What? Are you crazy?
To people who need it.
But we could have anything we wanted.
Ryan.
You could be rich. Yeah. Rich and lonely millionaires. With everybody else dead.
Like I said, who asked you?
Welcome to Series 2, Episode 2 of Conversation on Eagle Mountain, a podcast about the tribe. I'm your host, Lance, and joining me on the podcast panel today is Sabine.
Hi.
Maggie.
Hi.
Carlin.
Hello.
And a very warm welcome to our guest podcast for today, Chad.
Hello, how you guys doing?
With episode notes done by Matt and myself. So, Series 2, Episode 2, the screenplay was done by Mike Kenny. It was directed by Costa Boats, and the episode synopsis will be read out by Maggie.
The tribe returns to the mall only to find an unwelcome guest lurking in the shadows. Elsewhere, Bray tries to convince a mistrustful Danny of his motives, while Ebony attempts to lure Lex back to the dark side. With the antidote in their possession, the Mallrats face a dilemma over sharing it with the rest of the city. But without the formula to be able to produce more, have they only earned themselves a temporary reprieve?
Okay, panel, let's jump right into the most important topic first, Tai-San. So after having been banished to scout around for sleeping arrangements by Ebony, Tai-San instead combs through drawers within the government building, which is how she comes across several top-secret files marked Project Moondust, Atlantis, and Eagle Mountain. So I've got quite a few questions here, panel, but the immediate one first. Does it not kind of feel that Tai-San was purposely looking for the files here? Because the way it was filmed, it kind of suggested that she was looking for these on purpose and wasn't looking for, like, supplies. Well, how do you feel about that?
It was definitely obvious that she had ulterior motives. I don't know what those motives were, though. Like, it definitely seemed like she wanted to get to it before everybody else could. And yeah, it was just really, really suspicious.
I agree. It was very suspicious, and I do think it was specifically the formulas he was looking for, which makes sense because it's something she would think of. It's not the first thing that would pop to Ebony or Lex's mind, but it is something that would come to her mind. If there's something made, people have probably written down a recipe.
Yeah, I think Tai-San, again, I think she would make a great villain in some type of comic book atmosphere, because I believe deep down the way she thinks is she wants people to believe what she's saying, even if it's wrong. And I think a lot of the times throughout the entire series, she knows she's wrong, but she'll never admit it. So any type of proof or evidence she can have, or any type of leverage, where in this instance, her getting her hands on the antidote of the formula, and just try to manipulate it in some form to where people can trust her a lot more, or believe in the, I guess, what is it, like hippie talk that she normally says, the spiritual talk. Yeah, I mean, that's what I think. I think she's like probably like a grade B Batman villain in the making.
I wouldn't say a villain per se, but I could definitely agree with some of what you say, for sure. She definitely likes to have that one up, that, upper hand.
She's an anti-villain.
Yeah, she's in the dark side somewhere. I'm not sure who she's working for, but I still think she's up to something for someone else.
That was always suspicious to me, and since we don't really know much of her backstory, this is something she could have been looking for the entire time. I've always felt that when she went snooping, looking for stuff regarding the virus and the antidote and whatever else is behind it, that she was doing it for some form of leverage to work into her favor later. Why they didn't continue on with something like that, I don't know, but no, definitely suspicious and definitely out for herself on that one. If you have the knowledge, you can use it later for personal gain. Yeah. And she's always really been into everything for herself.
Yeah, knowledge is power.
Yeah, it is a weird one for me because Tai-San is she comes across as so spiritual. So for her to suddenly go, oh yeah, I'm gonna not forget the antidote. I'm gonna find the formula to the antidote. It's just so suspicious to me.
I don't know. She does her herbal stuff all the time. These herbal remedies, and maybe she knows that. Of course, it's just going to be some ingredients thrown together, and if she can get the tribe believing that she's their only hope, their only answer, that they have to look to her to do all this, then I mean, it's just really I can't see a good reason for Tai-San to be doing what she's doing.
Yeah, basically.
That's it. That's what it boils down to. Like, how do you justify this other than there being ulterior motives?
I've always felt that that Tai-San and Danny have something in common, though is never explored. I think that Tai-San's background has something to do with knowledge of what was going on in these government facilities, and potentially, like Danny's trying to hide the truth.
That's interesting.
More theories.
I never thought of that.
I mentioned earlier that we do not know Tai-San's backstory. They don't delve into it like they do.
No, they
with a lot of
don't.
the other characters. She just showed up, got everybody's trust in the mall, and only quickly violated with so many people. But we don't know anything else about her.
Do we know anything about her at all?
No, nothing from a.
That's the thing. Nothing.
Okay, I have a theory. I think one of you mentioned there was some type of fan theory or some type of fan fiction about Tai-San being a spy.
Mm-hmm.
Because now it makes sense. She was working for Ram the whole time.
You mean my crazy theory?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, like that. Now I've never exactly heard that theory, but now that you guys are saying it, I'm like, okay, I can see it, and it explains things in season 5, and that's all I'm gonna say. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, Tai-San's the bringer of the events of season 4 and 5.
Look how seamlessly she went into the technos without.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Okay, but anyway, season 2.
Season 2, right now.
and hence that kind of backs my theory that in her backstory, she knows what's going on, or somebody in her family is also responsible for these events.
It's possible. I mean, because we know absolutely nothing now that you guys mention it. Like, I'm like, what is her backstory?
She magically came there.
She just showed up in the forest to save Chloe.
Right place, right time.
Well, we know she needs glasses, but then somehow doesn't need glasses anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I just now realized that today, that we don't know squat about Tai-San's backstory.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Nothing.
That's an interesting thought, actually, Chad, because I hadn't actually thought about that before. I always thought, obviously, that the virus story, scientist storyline, was going to be given to Amber before she left the show. But they could have actually had Tai-San be part of that, but then dropped it when they introduced Danny. I mean, that's an interesting thought.
So many.
I also I know it's getting a little ahead, but if I recall, really in season 2, there's not a lot of interaction between Danny and Tai-San, and potentially, maybe they knew each other and they were intentionally avoiding contact.
Yeah, what little interaction we do see is not good. Like, there's definitely some animosity between the two.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not over Bray like the other girls.
It sure seems like it's over Bray, though.
It's always over Bray.
Anyway.
But it could also be that Tai-San and Danny know each other from, I don't know, gatherings with their parents or whatever, and they just intentionally don't talk.
Theories.
Danny would have said something to Bray eventually, though.
Eventually, but maybe she was taken away.
Yeah, she was taken away and disappeared before she could, or since she's already hidden a bunch of secrets from Bray, what's one more gotta hurt?
That is true.
I mean, I think we can all agree, they definitely kind of feels like they were setting something up, but then drops it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I dropped the ball as they did with a lot of things in season
2.
Oh, can we mention there's an Easter egg for I posted on the Facebook page. I was like, is this talking about Atlantis High? That's made by the same company that makes the Tribe.
Well, this was way before, but yeah.
Way before that, yeah. I mean, because, Jack's still so very young in this show, and he was definitely a lot older in that one.
I did have theories about Project Atlantis, though.
I have my theories on all 3 projects.
Yeah, but if you think about Project Atlantis and the things we see in the first book about the boats and everything, I always wondered if that was connected.
We won't mention too much of the books, because I know everyone has not read it yet. But Let's stick with that. What's your general thoughts about what each of the projects could be?
I mean, Atlantis definitely indicates maybe water, an underground facility somewhere. That's what I'm thinking.
For me, what I feel, it was potential was that there were 3 different projects all coincided. Moondust is the one that we hear in that video in a later episode. I think what the other 2 were, other halves of the projects at each location. Like I'm going to say where they found a version of the antidote. In episode 2, the one we're talking about, that's the start of the project. Atlantis is, can we clean up what we've done? And Eagle Mountain, potentially they're all going to convene for shelter and go underground in case things went awry. And each location has a version of the antidote to see which one would work. So everybody quarantined.
Well, yeah.
These versions, but I think it was a 3-part project, and each facility. Like Moondust, Atlantis, and Eagle Mountain were all facilities that had different parts to play in this experiment gone awry that just wiped out the world.
I always wonder though if, we have Moondust and we have the people who went off in the satellite with the satellite and everything who tried to look for salvation outside of the planet, and all the people on the boats for Atlantis. So I always assumed it was just that.
Yeah, and they definitely say that there's antidotes in different cities throughout the, so yeah, I mean, both theories kind of work.
Okay, I got a theory. It's a legit one too. Taizan is a spy, which is why she's been trained in martial arts and sneaking around. And I guarantee she knows how to kill a man in 20 different ways. So I think she was working for Ram, and Ram told her about his father, because we all know Ram's father was like some type of scientist or whatever.
Do we all know that? And
he told her, or maybe we don't know that. He told her about different operations, about what happened at Eagle Mountain, Moondust, and all that stuff. And I think Moondust was an operation his dad was working on, but then failed when he died. And he told him, and he told Taizan to look for these documents. I think this is what she was really after. I think the virus is just a plus. The virus kind of just escalated to like, all right, all these projects have been abandoned, whatever. Now I'm going to try to salvage this virus thing.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe not. I mean, like I said, I don't know what her ulterior motives are and everything, but there definitely isn't a good one behind it. There can't be. I mean, I don't think there's any justification in her doing what she's doing, period.
We will get to that last scene. We will talk about that. Trust me. Yeah, we'll get to that
that's why I haven't said anything about it. I'm just the way
because
that
I've got a lot to say about that. Yeah,
me too. I had a lot to say when I watched it.
Before we get to that, something I wanted to bring up, like, because it really does bug me. Because we mentioned in episode 1, how the quick pace of everything and how fast everything moved, and it rears its head again in this second episode because it really bugged me how easily she found the antidote.
Oh yeah,
it was just stuffed in a drawer. It wasn't locked away. It wasn't on a computer system.
No.
It was just in a couple of notes in a drawer. Like, did that not bug anybody else?
And it was in some giant office space too, with multiple desks. Like it was just this random afterthought. Well, where are we going to put this prop at? Where is it going to be located? Okay, here's a drawer. She could stumble upon it. Sure, great.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and
like
it's so much easier to put it in that drawer because otherwise we would have needed more power to power a computer there.
But I mean, why wouldn't they put it in a drawer in the room where the antidote was at?
It would be locked. Yeah, it would be like secured. Like
it should have been. Yes, secure. Absolutely. Unless, of course, it was, the thought of their children. Children are going to be left to have to find this.
Well, let's not forget the whole like Hope Island and Eagle Mountain security stuff. Like,
yeah,
I know. That's what I mean.
That
like
was one lax scientist.
Maybe they were just like, well, the kids are going to have to do this, so we have to think like children. I don't know. Nothing makes sense.
Unless someone left it for her.
It's always bothered me how quick she was to find that.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that we're being left to assume that the virus happened. They had to evacuate, so they just threw them where they'd find them. But it leads more to the theory that Chai-San's been there before and knew where to find it.
Yeah.
I think she's
It
been
does.
there before.
Yeah.
It
Because
does. I mean,
she instantly knows this is the place.
yeah. I mean, I guess that all makes sense, but I just don't want to give her too much credit. I'm sorry.
I mean, I kind of don't, but I'm just going off what the theory could be, but it's still too convenient that she just walked right in there. Oh, here it is.
Mhm.
Yeah, very convenient.
It was also pretty convenient that it was just behind two glass panel doors. Like, here, let's just push these open. Oh, voila! Like magic. It's like the Wizard of Oz, you know?
Well,
the
this is
curtain back.
Tai-San we're talking about.
I
She just
know.
said bibbidi bobbidi boop, and
Exactly, magic.
I mean, this leads to my last nitpick, because if
The
the
last one?
I mean, yeah, the last one for this section, like if the formula was so easily accessible, the adults would have saved themselves. I mean, some of them.
You would
like,
think so.
come on.
Where are they? Are they on the moon?
Yeah,
is that
where
where
they're
Project
hiding.
Moondust is?
Oh,
Is
that's
that
what
Project
Moondust-
Moondust? Like,
I-
is that where they are? And they're just like, nope, these guys are screwed. Like, it's like the 100. Well, here you go, children.
The way this story is written, like, yeah, there would be adults. There simply would be some adults.
That's why I always say I find it so hard to believe that every single last adult was killed.
Yes.
Like, there's no way.
the only thing I can think of is that this antidote works more as a vaccine than as something you take
It
when
is,
you're
well,
already ill.
obviously, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously it's been a vaccine. So maybe, yeah, it couldn't do any good because they were already all infected.
But that doesn't explain Lex.
It doesn't. Well, see, Lex is cured, you know, and then later on, as you
Yeah.
see, things change. That's why you say vaccine, and I'm like, well, yeah, it does kind of work in the sense of like a vaccine. Like, it protects you for a period of time, then you have to get your, you know.
But it does not explain the fact that Lex was already ill, took it, and then got better.
That's true, but maybe it's because they're too far into the virus. I don't know. You know, there's a lot of explanations for it, but I mean,
don't forget all the rest of the whole city and other people who didn't take it at all, who didn't need it to take it. And
Mhm.
stuff like, it's very weird.
well, they reached herd immunity.
Mutation?
Mutations, maybe. I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason to how any of this works.
Lance, how does this work?
Tell us, sir. Please.
Well, as you guys already know from the coronavirus, herd immunity is very, very difficult to reach.
Yeah, I know. And with these children who are terrified, scared children, you know, like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's so confusing. We need answers, Cloud9. Cloud9, we need answers.
Well, while we're talking about people infected with the virus, it's just a random off-topic question that I have regarding this episode. One I've always wondered what everybody else thinks. The fact that Top Hat came back even infected with the virus, you think they were testing the waters to see if maybe there was a potential they could have brought back Tribe Circus for like one more fight because of the sudden popularity they gained? Or do you think it was just like they needed something to do, so they brought him back for a dramatic effect?
Dramatic effect.
Dramatic effect, I think. It's nice for to have wishful thinking that they might have been thinking about bringing Tribe Circus back more, but I think it was just for the dramatic effect of them being home, and it just feels different.
I agree with that. I'm with Chad. Because the fact that they didn't have him in that last episode where Lex and Ryan suddenly disappeared, and they had that whole episode with him without him being there, to suddenly bring him back now, like, no, I think they did realize how popular he was and brought him back.
Well, yeah, but I don't think they brought him back for the long haul, thinking they were gonna,
maybe not
just.
long haul, but
And it is still dramatic effect because people did really enjoy this character. To see him in this light, it's kind of sad.
It's just sus that they didn't have him for one scene and then all of a sudden they brought him back. It's like, okay.
Because they definitely made it seem like Tribe Circus was just it. That was done. There was going to be no more Lex and Ryan. That was the end of it,
So what I've learned from that podcast episode that they posted on the tribe from that same actor who played Top Hat, I think is a bit of one, he was popular and they wanted to bring him back, and also just convenience, because he said his father also worked as like a long member of the show in the production side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but keep in mind, when these episodes aired, there was not that much time between them. So how would they have known how popular?
And you got to remember too, it wasn't in the day, the day and age of social media, and
There was a bit of a gap in season 1 and 2.
How much of a gap, though?
2 months with the at least with release between the episode with Top Hat and
with people though,
episode?
with fans, that can be enough time to really, have someone you just take off.
Well, I heard in interviews that none of the actors really knew the show was like huge until like the start of season 3.
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. It wasn't popular in New Zealand until way late. It was popular everywhere else but New Zealand.
Yeah,
I believe that. I mean, I saw it on Wham, and I think season 1 had already gone through, so I was watching reruns. And
I came in the middle of season 1 on Wham while I was at my grandparents' house, and then I remember actually I think I saw like the episode of my first episode I saw was the episode right before Tribe Circus. I was kind of hoping they would have come back, but I didn't get anything. I did a whole watch of the first season. I was like, okay, now I get it.
Yeah, but this episode was already filmed by the time we saw Tribe Circus for the first time. There's no way they filmed this after, because if they filmed this after, there would have been like 5 weeks or something, including editing.
But then that makes what happened in the end of season 1 even more weirder then. Why did they not feature him in the scene with Lex and Ryan?
I think they might have recorded it, but it got cut or something.
I mean, they did rush so much
Yeah.
right there in those last, those 4 episodes. It went pretty freaking quick.
Dear Cloud9, if you're listening, if that's a deleted scene, we want to see it.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so weird. Yeah, if it's a deleted scene, I'd love to see that. Yeah.
Just give us a DVD of deleted scenes, please.
This is the most precious stuff in the world right now. More precious than gold.
Or food.
And water even.
And it's all ours.
Yeah.
Yours and mine. We put Tysan out of action. Hide the juice. We control the flow.
Without the others?
They get what they need to stay alive, and we keep the rest. Look, Lex, think. Are you really going to give this to a bunch of kids who don't know the air from their elbow?
Without that bunch of kids, you'd have never found this.
When will we get another chance like this? Control the antidote, and we control the city. Maybe even the world.
Let's talk about Ebony and Lex, because with Tysan sent away, Ebony corners Lex and she suggests that they get rid of her and control the antidote for himself. But Lex immediately stands up for the Mallrats, especially in their time of grief, and he puts her in a place, refusing. So, yeah, a few questions about that panel. Like, were you surprised by Lex's response, or do you think it was natural growth for him?
I think it was absolutely beautiful, okay? It really just kind of, cements what we've been saying about how he really shows his loyalty to his tribe. He may be a scumbag, okay? And he may do some really, really crappy things, but in the end, the Mallrats are his family.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not going to let Ebony screw him over. And it was just wonderful.
I was just very glad he tried, though.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I would have been bummed out if she didn't.
It was perfectly in character for her to ask him. It would have been in character for him to say yes, but the fact that he doesn't say yes just shows that he's grown as a person. And otherwise, grief impacts people in different ways. And in Lex's case, it made him a slightly better human being for a moment.
I was going to say, for the time being.
It actually did surprise me that he told her no and put her in her place. Just to put it nicely, I'm not a big fan of Lex. But when he did that, I will admit that I was surprised, but I was also glad to see it. That for once he's thinking about the Mallrats and not himself. And I think it's also character growth from the fact he's had the virus. Would he really want somebody doing that to him if he came back? And Sandra not died, would he want somebody doing that to her? It's good to see the growth and that he was maybe taking a step in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's definitely awesome to see Lex in this type of growth from what we saw season 1. Season 1, it was like almost nearly unbearable for how like difficult he was as a character. But this also kind of brings up a point where Ebony can be very bad, like just like a bad person in some regards, but at least she'll do it in your face. Whereas Tai-San here is doing this behind everyone's back.
Yeah.
Which would make me trust Ebony a little bit more. Because if she's ever going to betray me, she'll be upfront about it. But yeah.
I mean, that's true. That is true. With Ebony, you know what you get, except you have to expect the unexpected. It's a weird combination.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, she's more than likely doing something to screw you over.
Right.
But what is it?
It would have been a disappointment had Ebony not done that.
Yeah.
Ebony's only ever been out for Ebony, just like for the longest time, Lex is only out for Lex. Seeing Ebony do that, you're not surprised. Yeah, I guess they thought they were going to shock everybody seeing Tai-San do it, but I wasn't all that shocked.
No, I wasn't that shocked with Tai-San.
Mm.
Like, I'm kind of upset because I wanted to like Tai-San, but she's doing so many things that I'm like, why? There's no reason for it. Like, what is your reasoning?
First time around, I didn't question Tai-San as much as I do now, but yeah.
I probably the same for me.
Yeah,
but it was a long time ago that I watched it for the first time around. So, like, but it was probably the same.
I'll admit it was for me. I think I stopped making excuses for her.
Yeah, and like I said, it's hard to make valid excuses for her any longer after this point, you know?
Yeah, and I guess that's the hard thing from watching Tai-San, because just like Zandra, for me, Tai-San was always someone that I did find annoying. I didn't agree with what she had to say, but since she experienced everything that we have, or everything that the tribe has, I do consider her family. And for that regard, I do care about her.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not like she is definitely a mall rat, you know? But why is she being so suspicious and so skeevy and doing what she's doing?
There's one in every family.
She's a Sith Lord.
You're preaching to the choir, honey.
Your words have never been spoken, Sabine.
We'll come back to her in a bit, but we need to talk about the introduction of Danny.
Mm-hmm. It's time.
Right, it's time.
Let's do it.
Robbie, for the right episode.
Whew, oh boy, okay.
Deep breaths.
Okay, so on his way to one of the buildings, Bray is cornered by a crossbow-wielding Danny, and he's forced to explain his reasons for being there. And though she's initially skeptical, replying sarcastically when Bray says that the Morts could use her, she repeatedly makes it clear that she dislikes liars, which I find very funny because but believing that Bray's motives are selfish reasons to win Amber back, she eventually softens when he reveals that Amber is dead. So yeah, panel. What do you think generally of the interaction between Bray and Danny?
I wanted. Sorry.
Yeah, was it? No. I was going to say, was it quite forced? Like, how do you feel?
I want to know who the heck this girl thinks she is. Like, I mean, yes, he stumbled into her home, but for her to talk, she doesn't like liars, never lie to her. Like, who does she think that she is speaking to? This boy she met 2 minutes ago? Of course he's gonna lie to you. Who are you?
Not even that. This girl with the biggest secret saying she doesn't like liars.
It's just the irony of it all, and it's more like in my head. I'm like, the audacity of this of this child. Like, who
is this spoiled little
Yes,
princess?
yes, exactly. I'm like, oh, you have been so sheltered. You have no idea who. Oh, it explains so much on how she speaks to people too. Oh man.
She was raised in an adult environment.
Yeah, I know.
So we're only discussing her introduction. If you're somebody that's never seen this before, that you haven't seen the rest of the episode, you don't know much about the character. I look at it, she's just being defensive and closed off and trying to defend what's hers at the time. As time goes on, you go back and then you watch. It's like, wow, really?
Exactly.
The kettle black, huh?
Exactly.
You might that crossbow yourself and ask yourself some questions there, kiddo.
Right. Thank you. Yeah, like when you first watch it, you're like, okay, yeah, she's just protecting her home. I get it. And then you're like, wait a second. No. Let's go back a little bit.
She's trying to figure out what's going on with this Amber person.
She's the one pointing an actual weapon at someone. The first real weapon we see.
True. Though something I kind of do want to point out though, like watching. So I watched the episode right before we started, but the way she's talking to Bray, she's been around the city. She knows who they are.
Mm-hmm.
I would for a second believe that there's no way she didn't know who he is, and didn't know who it may not have the name. If she had seen Amber, she would have known who that was if I have a name to the face. So, especially living in a government thing, I don't believe for a second she didn't know who they were and wanted to find out why they were in her home.
But nobody really knew the Mallrats, though.
At this point, yeah, they weren't that well known.
Yeah, they were at the gathering, but I doubt that Danny was there because he was trying to hide from the whole world.
Yeah, that's why I say I think she was isolated all this time.
But yeah, I get a pretty boy walks into your home. You're a woman alone. Of course you think he's up to no good.
Yeah, Bray, she was so defensive because she probably thought Bray was using like his like pretty boy powers to seduce her a little bit, which I guess worked.
The moment she knew Amber was no longer in the picture, she packed her bag and went with him.
Yes.
She smiled with her eyes.
Oh.
I was about to bring that up.
There's no competition? Oh, great.
I was going to bring that up later. It's just, I couldn't get over the way she was talking to Bray about Amber as if there's some familiarity there. That's why I have, that's where I got the idea that perhaps she at least knows that they're a tribe and knows that they're...
Well, Bray told the story.
Yeah.
About what the tribe was trying to accomplish before. We just didn't get to see it. We get to see her reaction to him telling her why he's there and what they're looking for. And, I
think she's at least people watched. She's been isolated. She's at least people watched.
It's definitely possible.
Just the way she kept bringing up Amber, I do feel like, she might have people watched. Because
it's definitely possible. I mean, it is definitely possible, but I definitely do agree that some of her reaction, was to what he told her.
Mm.
That is true. I didn't think about that, and I'll admit that.
It's a bummer we didn't get to see it.
Yes.
But also
more deleted scenes.
Also, like what Sabine mentioned, now that I'm seeing it, this time around, that was rather convenient. That as soon as there's no competition, just like Lex. Oh, I'm all in now. Let's go. Where are we going?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it definitely, it is ridiculous. It is just so ridiculous.
As we learn later, also in the story, Bray mentioned that Amber was the tribe leader. So now what she's doing is power play. Wait, Amber's dead? The tribe has no leader? Bam, power play.
Oh, yeah, I can see it. Danny definitely likes power.
The government child. Of course she's going to make a power play.
You make a great point, and I think that's pretty much the theme of this episode. I think it's all the female characters just making power plays. Every single one of them.
Girl power.
Yeah. Ebony trying to take over the world with this virus. Taizan who knows what she's trying to do, but she wants the virus for herself. And I believe, for me personally, I think Danny... Obviously, we don't know this yet, but I think Danny does feel guilty for how the world is. And I do think her intentions are very good for wanting to join Bray and help. but it is fishy because we just don't know this person.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that. I do feel like, her motives are good, but they're also selfish. If you think about it, because I mean, I don't want to say too much about what we see, later on, but they are definitely selfish too. Yeah, they're good, but they're
Partly selfish and partly out of a feeling of guilt.
That's what I'm saying. They're self-serving.
Yeah.
Which is a very bad combination.
Oh, I can't wait till we get to this because I've got so much to say. I don't think it was guilt at all. I think she's very selfish. She just hides.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's very self-serving. Thank you.
I can't wait till we get to that. Yeah.
I can't either.
Boy, I hope I'm a guest on that one.
It's going to be great.
But yeah, the way she does jump on board is very quick. Like we mentioned before, it's done so quick. How do you feel, Chad? Like, did you feel like she was meant to be propped up as an Amber replacement? How did you feel?
Well, I'll say what I mentioned on the soundbite I did for Carlin. I don't think that's their initial intention. That's just where it went because they dropped the ball with the character of Danny. I guess just for poor reception.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they had, we see her kind of this strong, independent young lady who all of a sudden becomes just this whiny little girl later that doesn't get her way. Okay, I'm going to scrape my knee and scream bloody murder.
Yeah, I think in the world of television, there's always going to be characters that come in and out of TV shows. That's just, obviously we want characters to stay because they're written there in that world, but just from how TV works, it's not very realistic for someone to stay for that long. Now, when a new character comes in, automatically you're going to think that they're replacing that character, even if they're a complete 180 from that original character or not. So I just think Danny is just honestly, it's just bad timing.
It has to be bad timing. Otherwise, she is a replacement. I mean, there's no other way to really kind of look at her. Simply because of the way that she was introduced, when she was introduced, and how, her personality. I can't look at it any other way. I've tried. She replaced Amber in almost every sense of the manner. And maybe that wasn't the intention with her, but that's what we got.
If they had slow burned the relationship, if they had given him more than a couple of episodes and suddenly they're together, like any memory of Amber's gone like a fart in a tornado.
I wish they never got together.
I think she would have been better received, though, if they had taken their time in building this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't disagree. And that's what,
They did. They dropped the ball with it, and everybody just hated Amber or hated Danny because she replaced Amber. And it's like, well...
She did replace Amber, though. She came in and she became the female leader of the Mallrats, and she became Bray's whatever she is. And she picked up where Amber would have eventually ended up. And it's really sad that that's what happened with her. That's what they gave us, unfortunately.
You know what this is? I'll tell you what this is. This is basically like any presidential election that you have Amber, what the people want, but really what the people need is Danny. Because she actually...
No.
No.
Sorry.
We don't.
She actually
fine.
did things while Amber just pounced around and kept thinking about Bray.
Wait, hold on,
shirtless Bray.
Hold on. If Amber was still alive in the same position, we would have gotten the same exact storyline.
You don't know that, though. You don't know that.
Yes, without the whining. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
We don't know that.
Yes,
we don't know that.
Exactly where.
Pretty whiny.
100%.
No, this is logically speaking. This is exactly where Amber's character would have ended up had she stayed on the show for season 2. This is it. This is exactly
100%.
what she would have done. You cannot sit there and say that's not what have happened because this is whose Amber's character is. It's
Thank you.
Yeah, but it's still speculation at the end of the day because you're just going off of
But you
analytics.
can't speculate on things. No, that's the thing, though. You can speculate and you can have your theories all you want, but you cannot analyze something It's not there. This is what we were given. This is what we see. This is what we have to work with, not what we want to have happen in our heads. That's
If you look
not
at all of
no
Amber's backstory, all of her growth. This was natural what she would have done.
natural. This
You
is
wouldn't have
exactly
the
this is
whining.
it.
It would have been the same
Exactly.
without the whining.
It's still speculation.
Exactly.
You're making an educated guess on it.
And maybe that's why they dropped the ball with Danny.
Yes.
Okay? If she wouldn't have been so whiny and pushy and insistent on everybody doing what she wanted them to do, she would have been received better.
I hate to say this, but the way you just mentioned all that, Maggie, it's like Danny's just a very unhealthy combination of Zandra and Tysan.
Don't get me started on Zandra.
I mean, it is weird because we do mention like before, like the prominence of Tysan in season 2 and Danny, and it is kind of weird how I think they did kind of push the kind of central female focus onto those two.
Yeah.
And they're gone, but they chose the wrong attributes, if that makes sense. And
Yes,
Danny doesn't
that's what
work.
I'm saying too.
She doesn't work
Yeah.
because they made her not strong in that way. They made her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't.
You know
explain
how
it.
Amber is when she's brokenhearted?
Yeah.
That's Danny when she doesn't get her way.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like,
Yeah. You're not wrong.
So you're simply admitting that Amber would have been whiny as well if she hadn't gotten her way.
if she was still brokenhearted.
She was brokenhearted, but not for
If she's
general
brokenhearted.
management of the
Like
virus.
she gets all whiny and broody and
when
all
she's
standoffish
lost her
when someone hurts her heart, you know? Like
love. The antidote, no, she would have been normal.
nah, she would have been normal. But like, do you guys think this is a good idea, Braid? She wouldn't have been so like I think she would have understood things a little bit better than Danny does this season.
And that leads to the question too. You know, the open-ended question: if Amber had stayed on the show, would we still have had Danny?
Nope, 100% nope.
I would have loved to see that though.
I would have
Same
too.
here,
It
same
would have
here.
been great. It would have been great to have both of them.
I
Okay,
100% believe we would never have had Danny. If
but we wouldn't
it
have
was
gotten
still-
Danny. I don't
no.
think.
I think for how TV works, because I do think TV is a little bit sexist. I think if Bray would have came back, they would have kept Jay and Bray.
Wait, that's jumping ahead.
Yeah, we're getting way ahead. Come on now, come on.
No, I'm just saying. But I'm just saying that would have happened. But then, yet, if Amber would have came back season 2, they definitely whenever Danny wouldn't have been there, which she wasn't.
I mean, remember they got rid of Danny as soon as Amber came back. That says
Yeah,
that says it all.
And there's definitely there's different circumstances for the other one leaving.
But
Like
yeah,
I don't personally. I'm just gonna say that I don't personally think that Jay is a Bray replacement. So, and I'm just gonna leave it at that.
oh Maggie.
Yep. For now, we will delve into it later on.
You guys will broach that one later, but
Yeah.
to answer a question you asked earlier, Lance, I'm kind of circling back. I think the beginning of the interactions with Danny and Bray were what you would expect of a guy with a crossbow pointed at him.
Mm-hmm.
It went from kind of a natural get over the awkwardness phase to very forced there towards the end. It started natural and became forced, in my opinion, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Mm.
It was so obvious at the end, though. I mean, her pushing and pushing about Amber.
That's why it bothers me so much. Like that's why the whole thing.
Oh, she's not an issue anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
So good translation of that conversation. What you're getting at, Sabine, is, so are you single? Well, I mean, are you single?
Yep.
Well, let me explain something. Are you single? For the love of God, are you single? Oh, you are? Okay, now I'll listen to you.
That's the perfect explanation of that scene. Yeah.
Yes. Thank
That's
you
what
for breaking
bugs
that
me so
down
much
for
about it.
us.
Yes. Oh.
That was great.
That's how most of everything works, though, in TV.
Why couldn't she be found by Jack and Dal? Like, why?
Yes, like
Why did it have to
Because
be
Jack would have
Bray?
peed his pants if he had
No,
a
I
crossbow
know.
aimed at him.
I understand that. Okay, like
and
no,
Dal would
I
have
he
jumped in
absolutely,
front.
yeah, absolutely. He would have protected his love no matter what. But I just that would have just worked for me so much more. Okay.
Yeah, I have no love for Danny, absolutely none. But
None.
I absolutely agree. They did her dirty. This was not the way to.
They
Mhm.
did.
Do not introduce her through Bray, and right away you get her to go, "Oh, is Amber dead? Is Amber dead? Is Amber in this picture?"
And it's
No,
they
come
literally
on.
it's the episode after we find out
Yeah.
that Amber is dead, and
Yeah.
it's so. Why did they have to do
Why?
that to her and then do that to us? Like treat us like we're stupid. Like
It shows, and I hate to say this, but it shows that even Lex can be a better man than Bray.
I
I'm not going that
Yeah,
far. I'm not going that far.
I will give the devil his due on that one and agree with you.
okay, I will say at the moment,
Mhm.
that I will agree at the moment. I love Lex. I will agree for the time being. Okay.
He's the better man right now.
Yes.
At least he refused a woman he tried
This
to sleep with
episode.
before.
But that doesn't mean he's a bad person, though. If he wants to, like, if that's everyone in this tribe series has a different way to cope with loss. Absolutely everyone.
No, you are
Yeah.
absolutely correct. You are 100%. You are.
At least Lex has the decency.
Wait 3 days?
Yeah, I was going to say only 3 days because he does kind of fall into Ebony's trap a bit.
But it sounds like we all can admit that they did Danny dirty and really dropped the ball with whatever it was they were trying to do with her.
But that's the thing is, I don't genuinely believe they were trying to do anything with her, other than replace Amber. They needed a strong female lead to pair with Bray because the protagonist cannot be single.
No, especially Bray can't.
Exactly.
Yeah, they flip flop between Tai-San and Danny. It's like they weren't sure who to make the main to protect the female protagonist.
Yes.
It comes off so
but
weird.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but that's because they weren't sure who to pair with Bray.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
obvious.
you can. Yeah, it is very obvious. It's just they needed a strong female lead, and that's who they got. They were like, well, Celine, no. Trudy, maybe. You know what I mean? Ebony, nobody's gonna buy it.
You could even give him a few days off by himself. Like, come on.
No, but no, that's the thing is you can't because he's grieving now and he's sad and he needs a shoulder to cry on.
Oh.
It's that typical teenage, love trope. It is what it is.
He did initially try to do that, though. He was going to stay at Eagle Mountain for a while to have that alone time, but they convinced him to come back with them.
That's the thing, though, is he probably would have always gone back because that's who Bray is. Okay, he can say in the moment that no, I'm not going to go back. But he always was going to go back.
Yeah, he's like a puppy.
Yeah.
See, now that would have been good.
Yeah, it would have made more sense. Even with the introduction of Danny, it would have made more sense if we had Bray just sulking around for a bit and just randomly running into her.
Yeah. Just very briefly, panel. Like, let's talk about the guys returning to the mall because we've mentioned Top Hat, but I have to mention again the standard of the writing because did it annoy anyone else how many times Patsy and Chloe mentioned that the place wasn't the same without Amber and Zandra?
Yeah, every time I see that part, I'm always like, okay, we get it. Shut up.
We know. And I feel like Trudy and Celine definitely felt the same way. They were like, yes, you can stop saying it now. You can stop saying it now. But I feel like it's very in tune with what a 10 or 11-year-old would be acting that way. Like my 10-year-old, she still very frequently says things like that over and over and over. So it seems in character for them, but I would have probably lost it.
You would have wanted to strangle them just as badly as we do now.
Oh no, yeah, absolutely. Trust me, from experience. I understand the insistent question and insistent saying of things that are obvious and you already know, and yeah.
Just now we're in this scene. Was anyone else annoyed by the fact that Celine acted mad towards Trudy for saying she needed to protect her baby?
Yeah, that was a bit weird. I didn't understand.
It did seem a bit strange, yeah.
That's a bit out of character, especially since in season 1, Celine was the one taking care of Brady.
Mm-hmm.
You think she would understand that Trudy wants, that Trudy needs to protect her baby.
Yeah.
Especially now she's been stepping up and actually being a mother for the last how long now? It seemed very out of character.
It's just, what did they expect her to do? Put Brady
Yeah.
in the bed on her own, or chase after whoever was in the mall on her own with a tiny baby?
I just thought it was a bit of an overreaction on everyone's parts. Maybe I wasn't watching close enough. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a bit weird. Like, obviously, Ryan is the most apt person to go and investigate what's going on.
Yeah.
But then for Celine to like snap at kind of Trudy to say like it's a bit weird. Yeah, I didn't get that, to be honest.
It just annoyed me.
And we would think the girls would be asked to stay up there too.
Yeah, it would have made so much more sense if Patsy and Chloe would have stayed with Trudy and Brady. Because at other times they just they lock the girls and Trudy with the baby up together, or keep them out of harm's way. And
we forgot that instant puberty they went through. Now all of a sudden it's okay for them to do the grown up things.
That's a very good point. The other thing that kind of annoyed me too is they're old enough to have understood when they said Bob's an animal, the animals don't get the virus, yet they still kept whining that Bob needed the antidote. They're old enough they would have understood, it doesn't affect the animal, but yet they still swiped some of the antidote and gave it to the dog anyway. They seemed very disinterested in it. But to me, that's like a digression, or whatever the word is. Like, why are they suddenly acting like they're way young and not understanding that? They would know this.
Oh, they're supposed to be what, like 11?
Yeah.
Right now? Okay.
Patsy's 11th birthday was the birthday party.
Yeah, no, I like, my 10-year-old, I could still see her doing something like that, even after knowing, if they're not going to get sick, but I'm still going to do this anyway because, I'm not trying to justify it because it's annoying, that the girls are the way they are sometimes, but I can see a child still doing that, even knowing deep down, just to be safe.
Just to be safe. Bob is their family.
Yeah.
Bob is their, basically, their Paul replacement.
Right. And how do they really know the dogs and animals don't get it? Kids used to not get it too. Kids get it now.
I think I can safely say I know several children of that age who would have probably done the same. Yeah,
no, exactly. And I'm not trying to actually justify what they're doing because they should listen, but as a child, I can see it.
I remember these kids have lived through the first virus. Like they know that animals were safe.
Right.
Like, they were safe.
I know, but as seeing Chloe's character, and seeing Patsy's character, it's not crazy for them.
Chloe's smarter than that.
Yeah.
But it's not crazy for them to still do this.
And then why not feed it to the chickens as well?
I don't know.
Porky.
Maybe it'd be. I don't know. I'm just
and
saying.
The rats.
They're children.
And I just felt like one of those scenes just tag on just to give them something to do, really.
Yeah, you see, this show has a really bad problem with their very young kid actors and making them get stuck in that age throughout the course of whatever seasons they're on there for, which is very unfortunate because Patsy and Chloe are nothing more than just filler, and then they're just there to remind you of what the episode is about or what happened in the previous episode.
I think this part was just, them giving the antidote to Bob was just to emphasize on the fact that Bob is a member of this tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Bob is a mole rat.
If he is, why doesn't he do anything?
Carlin!
He does, he barks.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'd rather have Sammy in an adventure.
As a dog?
Oh my God.
No.
Sir.
Okay, let's get back to season 2. Panel, I have a question for you. We need to talk about Trudy.
Okay.
Trudy the movie?
Cringe.
How do you feel about the scene that happened when Bray returns to the mall with Danny and everyone doesn't believe that she's not interested in Bray?
I mean, look at her face. She can say what she wants. But her facial expressions, and I'll give it to Antonia. It's amazing.
Amazing.
Amazing. I love Trudy.
That is not true. I love
It
her so
is,
much.
baby girl. It is true. It's okay too.
Yeah, but
It's fine.
she doesn't want to admit it to herself.
I know, but it. Come on,
I
honey
think the
girl.
funniest part of that whole incident was Danny's face. Because she kind of glimpsed over at Bray, and then she looked back at Trudy, and then looked over at Bray again, and she was like, "I thought you said Amber was dead."
Yet here is this girl with a baby flinging herself at you.
Yeah, you have a child.
Trudy can say all day that it wasn't true, but I think she still had not gotten over him at all. She's just
no.
having to lie to herself about it to feel, to get over the fact that she didn't have a chance.
In Trudy's defense, how
I
can you
think
ever get over
yeah.
that? I mean, if you really like someone, you've been
That's
through
true.
so much, and then yet they literally live 20 feet away from you.
Yeah, and I think she didn't really want to necessarily admit to herself that she was jealous.
Mm-hmm.
That those two could be. I think that's really what it boils down to.
And for Trudy as well, this moment, with Amber being gone, she cared for Amber. She does not want to be seen as,
Yes.
someone. She doesn't want it to look like she's happy Amber's gone.
Because I don't necessarily think that she is, because I think she was genuinely happy for Bray and Amber, and I think she had accepted the idea of it. But now this other girl is coming in, this stranger.
Yeah, we can't have that.
And Bray, could possibly be developing feelings for her, and I feel for Trudy in this situation, because how does she convince everybody that she's not jealous and she doesn't care? Because she does care, but how does she care?
That's an interesting angle, Maggie. Do you think it could have been more for Amber's defense rather than her own feelings, or?
I do think that, because I do think she was genuinely happy for Amber and Bray.
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
Like, she wanted them to be happy because she wanted Bray to be happy, and Amber was her friend. So this strange girl's coming in, and, like, of course it's going to come off like she's jealous to everyone else. How does she convince them that she's not? It's a tough situation.
Yeah.
I never stopped to think about that one, Maggie. That's actually a good point. And so now, like, thinking about it now, with what you brought up, I'm starting to see now and starting to truly think that in this case, Trudy may have been being angry for Amber because Amber's not there to be upset.
Mm-hmm.
But now she's trying to be upset for two people.
Yeah, and I know she is, she is probably upset for herself as well, because she's known Bray the longest, and she probably wanted to be the one to be there for him in this situation. Be his shoulder to cry on, because she's his oldest friend. And now this other person's here, and she knows how this is going to go.
Ebony's eye roll at that, though.
Ebony is fantastic.
Ebony's look of, yeah, girl, of course you're still into him.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, no, me neither.
But it's more fun if Trudy gets mad about it.
Yeah.
I guarantee Ebony is already making a plan in her head. How am I going to get rid of this one?
Yeah, let's also move on to the moral dilemma of the episode. Like, how did you feel about the discussions taking place about what they should do with the antidote?
I mean, it makes sense that people would talk of selling it. I mean, they need food. It wouldn't be that horrible, but at the same time, like, Bray and Danny, like, why do they have claim to it? Is it, finders keepers? Is that what we're dealing with now? Is that we resorted back to those rules?
Yeah, but if it was finders keepers, then Lex and Ebony and Lysander had more say than Bray.
That's what I mean. Like, why? I don't know. It's all confusing. I don't know what I would have done in that situation, to be honest.
For once, I would have probably agreed with Lex. They need supplies.
Yes, they need something.
That whole mall was cleaned of food before they left. They need food. They need batteries because everything got left behind. They need basically everything but a roof above their heads.
Yeah.
And they only have a limited supply. I can understand their reasoning for trading it for things they need.
Yeah, for things they need, absolutely. That's what I mean. Like stuff, not just junk and trinkets and games and stuff. But I wouldn't have wanted Ebony involved.
I mean, I get that that's a moral issue, but they need to survive as well. If you already have enough food, water, and everything, sure, then give it away. But if you don't have anything, yeah.
It is it's a sticky situation.
Yeah.
Either way you look at it.
Because where I live, there was kind of a similar situation, but I believe that there is nothing wrong with capitalizing off of this virus if they're thinking about it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that because you're in the midst of a pandemic and this is a new situation for you along with everyone else you're with. However, it would be a problem if you were dictating kind of like I don't know how to say it. Like if you knew how to dictate certain things from the virus, not necessarily like just distributing it, but like for example for Taizan able to manipulate people from the virus, then that is a problem per se. But there's nothing wrong with capitalizing from it.
Right. I just think that goes against what the Mallrats stand for too. If you think about it, like
What do they stand for?
that's not who they are as a tribe. They want to better the city. They want to help the city. They want to help those in need. They're that good tribe.
Who made that rule? Was it Amber?
Mm-hmm.
That's another reason why Danny
It doesn't matter who made it. It's just
better leader than Amber.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who made the rule. It's what we've established as far as this tribe goes. They just want to make things better.
Well,
I think the other way they could have worked that I could see the Mallrats working it too. It would be if you can trade like how many of you are here? Trade a couple cans of food. Here's some for you guys to share among each other. Trade to us what you can if you can. So I see that because I don't think they want to put other tribes in the same position they're in. That could have put them in a better standing in the city. That's why they're not telling us no at all, but they want something to be fair to make up for giving it out.
Yeah, I can agree with that as well. But to go back from what Maggie was saying, basically, since that's not the Mallrats way, they're like, oh well, we shouldn't force people to pay. We shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that. That's not what we do. That's not what we're. I guess that's not where our values lie, or that's not what the tribe is based on. And I think because of that, I think that's why the Mallrats have always been scratching their way up for air throughout the entire series. So I think they should capitalize on it. I don't know. I just think they just need a new set of laws to go by, a new set of values, because clearly what they're doing doesn't work for them.
A Bill of Rights?
It doesn't work for them at all.
But we're only just into season 2. Like, how do we know now at this point that it doesn't work?
It doesn't work because they're starving every episode.
So far, but here's the thing. I think they've done pretty well so far, considering they found the friggin'
Well, they're doing well from not dying episode to episode, from when they clearly should have died.
They're doing a lot better than a lot of other tribes out there.
Well, you can say that from a lot of tribes.
I'm gonna channel Liz here and say, like, as usual, it's something like in between. Like Lex makes a lot of sense, but at the same time, like, there's no point being like the only people alive on a heap of dead bodies. So, like, properly capitalizing the antidote is not the way. You need to save as many people as you can, because as far as they're aware, that this is the only thing that can save everybody.
There's no reason to save everyone if you can't save yourself. You have to help yourself before you can help others.
They've saved themselves. That's fine. They've all taken a dose. That's fine. As far as they're aware, that's all they need at the moment. But to just
but they need food.
Interesting query, because you need food.
And they can get food.
They can't get food,
but they need people to be alive.
Can't demand this from people. Something that they need to survive. Like, you can't, like...
Yeah.
Listen.
I get that. It's just, at this point in time, they do not have an unlimited supply of the antidote. So they can only save a couple anyway. So why not?
That's my next question. Yeah, how did you feel about them pretty much giving away everything at once?
Oh, man.
Quite stupid.
That was a bad move.
Bad move, yeah. I feel like if Amber had been there, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, it probably would have. You can't say that about Amber.
No, I don't think it would have. Amber's a lot more pragmatic about things, and she's a lot more, logical and realistic. Like, whereas Danny and Bray were just kind of like, well, we'll help who we can.
Piggyback off of Maggie here for a second, because if you again, you got to look back. Amber was trying to evenly distribute the food, so everybody was going to be fed, get a portion. You would have done the same thing with the antidote. Bray, we can't just give this away. What are you thinking? Give them a smack or something, and figure out how could they get something for themselves, and how can they also give out this antidote, keep enough for Tysan to study it and replicate it.
Yeah. That would have been Amber's first thought. Like, how do we replicate this? How do we...
Yes, how do we make more?
How do we make more, yeah.
She would have gone to Jack, though.
Yeah.
Instantly, not Tysan.
Oh, yeah, Jack. But I mean, she absolutely, her first thought would have been, okay, we need more. This isn't going to be enough.
Yeah.
They didn't think about that when they went out there.
Everyone. Amber would have wanted to save everyone,
That's
but
not realistic.
not without being... It
doesn't matter if it's realistic or not. She would have wanted to save as many people as she possibly could. Okay? And obviously, if there's, it's been made before, then you can make more.
Yeah.
I think even in this case, if Tysan had stepped in, Tysan probably would have been like, well, we need to keep enough to figure out how it's done. I think, they all just impulsively went out, let's give it all away.
And Tysan was off being sneaky.
Got the leverage now.
But it was in Tysan's favor for them to give it all away.
Sneaky Tysan.
The other thing.
I'm it's where she goes back and forth between the seasons. It's personal gain for her, but she would have tried to play that whole let's help who we can. She would have been shady about it. I guess that's the way to put it.
What's wrong? Lex, it really is all gone. Oh no. We do have one more chance. Jack and Dal, let's hope they find the formula. Hope? I'm dying and you're telling me to hope? Oh, I had hope. But you just gave away the last dose in the world.
Yeah, let's move on to our final thoughts of the episode, because, let's talk about Tysan, because... So there's two separate scenes. So we have one where Lex is convinced that the virus is coming back and that he needs another dose. So he races to Bray and Danny, but Bray lies and tells him that there's no more left. But he secretly keeps aside a sample in case they need it to analyze it and make more. But then we have Tysan, who burns the formula to antidote. So she's the only one alive who knows the formula. What were your thoughts, panel?
Why? That was my first thought, was why.
My first thought was, you evil scheming witch.
I mean, yeah, no, I definitely had other thoughts after the why. But no, there's, like I said, there is no logical reason in my head other than her self-gain as to why she would do something like this.
Yeah, other than power for yourself.
Yeah. Exactly.
I can make an excuse
because
why.
Knowledge is power. Why?
So I made a little analysis video before about what's in the antidote, and from what the show has shown, it's very easy. It's common items you can find at a grocery store, which makes it very stupid. But I don't think that's something like an antidote that you need to keep. You can easily just... I think it's wrong that she kept it for herself and burn it. But if she was going to burn it, which she did, she could have just told everyone what it was, because they're just simple items you can find outside.
Right. So, power. She wanted power.
Well, let me tell you something. If I had the antidote and if I was in Tysan's position, I would burn it so someone like Ebony or Lex wouldn't get their hands on it, but I would tell the ingredients to someone like Bray or Celine.
Okay. Obviously, as you watch the show and things progress, yes, but here, there is no other reason other than she wants the power of it. She enjoys being the only person that knows this antidote, and being the only person to be able to tell someone what it is and show someone how to make it. Like, it is so sneaky and it is so conniving.
I agree.
And it really shows you what kind of character she is. There's, like I said, there's no good explanation for her to do.
I agree. She's a Batman villain.
It plays perfectly well. It plays in perfectly well with her love of claiming everything is natural and herbal healing, though. Because, by doing this, she gets to be like Ooh, I told you all. It's just just herbs. We have to go the natural way, no chemicals.
And that's fine, but that again comes into her having a power play.
Yeah.
It literally just all is her wanting control.
Yeah, it's her wanting control and her wanting to be deemed as being right.
Yes.
And not just that. My initial reaction when I first saw it was WTF, but now, like looking at it, it is a power play because now the mall rats are going to rely on her. She's going to be the one that knows it.
Yep.
But now she has all the power right there to override even the tribe leader when they appoint a new one because they can't survive without her. She wants to be the savior of the city.
Boy, like
you can't get rid of me.
Lance, you have opinions on this, please.
Like, I can't even put the blame on her spirituality because, like, not even her spirituality would force Tai-San to, like, put in peril basically the lives of every single other person. Like, this is purely for power, personal power, nothing else, nothing to do with her spirituality. This is just her own personal power. Like, it's 100% selfish.
Yes.
100%. Like,
absolutely.
If everything is from natural ingredients, which obviously that's a side issue. That annoyed me. Everything was natural. Okay, that's fine. Okay, but then to not spread that to everyone else, so everyone else could easily make this. It annoys me so much. Sorry.
Each tribe should have been given the formula.
Yeah, but what would have happened if they did? Just think about it for a second. People like the demon dogs would have made sure that one ingredient.
Simple. Everything will be a level playing field. There'll be no
That's not
virus.
true. That's not true.
That.
You look at the
that's not
locos. You
true.
look at the locos and how Zoot was running that group.
Everyone has the antidote. It's fine.
If you look.
Yeah, but if everyone has the recipe to the antidote, then there will be one or two tribes who will make sure that certain ingredients are only in their hands.
Everyone would get it.
No.
Like,
Lance, you're banking off of that everyone as a tribe leader is responsible and they're good people.
Okay.
You look at someone like Zoot, how he ran the locos. When they found food for the tribe, and it was only for the tribe, he had first dibs on it. It was only for him first.
Zoot picking flowers.
Zoot, you can say Zoot was very similar to the leader from, or I guess the leader from.
But think about the market trade.
Come on, Zoot was in the
or think about the trade market that it could open up. Okay, this tribe, grows this, or this tribe has this,
Yeah.
And then they start trading everything, and it opens up an economy. Okay, instead of just you're going to give them all rat your stuff. Here's this. What kind of thing? Like, how?
No one has the power.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but knowledge isn't just power in this case. You need the ingredients.
It is so. Knowledge absolutely is
ingredients.
Power.
It is power.
But it is power.
Someone as crazy as the Guardian could have burned down whole fields of the ingredients they need.
But we don't see that. We never ever see him do this. We can't speculate on that. He never does that. We never.
No, but there are plenty of idiots in this city.
He ignores the virus. He ignores the antidote. We never see that, so we can't speculate on that.
People like the demon dogs who just burn things down for fun or for personal gain.
I mean, if they don't want the antidote, that's fine. But other people will.
Yeah, but would they have? Would they have?
Here's my thing: are you telling me that Tai-San doesn't know how to grow all this crap?
Yeah.
Are you guys really telling me that she could
obviously she knows how to do it?
Come on.
There's not a lot of people in the tribe universe that are willing to learn how to do that.
What about Dal the farmer?
You're saying that no one else can grow this normal stuff that goes everywhere.
Someone who is very intellectual to someone who's like
I am saying, okay.
You need spice to be able to do that. Without the seeds, you can't plant.
And Tai-San already knows what they are, so they can get them before apparently the city goes into chaos.
Yeah, everything is natural, but that doesn't mean that there wouldn't be bad tribes who would try to secure a specific area and would just block your access to it.
No, listen. Here's a better question for you. So if you want to give the the antidote to everybody and make it accessible and tell them how to make it, you think you give the antidote to someone like Sammy, who you say, hey, here's how to make it. good luck. And they're like, well, can't you just make it for me? Can't you just do this?
We're talking about giving it to each tribe leader, so the tribe leader can
You're still
figure out how to
banking
make
off
it,
of
and
that
then or
tribe
tell them how to
leaders are
make it.
competent enough to do that.
Listen, here's the thing: if you're leading a tribe, you
No.
should be competent enough at this
To
point.
pick a couple of herbs, come on.
There have been a lot of tribe leaders that are not competent
We
enough.
we have to assume. No, I'm just saying, Zoot absolutely would have had it made.
No. For himself,
Yes,
maybe.
Don't judge. Don't fight me on Zoot.
But let's also think about this. Even if tribe leaders got it, there's also people out there like Alice who has her own farm. Alice is intimidating enough that if she wants to know how to make it, somebody will give it up to her, and then she can close off her farm. And now you got this person right here who's got it, and she's going to get whatever she needs, because there are people out there who will do it themselves, not affiliated with a tribe. And right now, Alice has been established as a recurring character, and at least we've seen her a few times, know who she is. She would get it, and she'd be out there making it. So, fine, if tribe leaders are competent enough, this person is secluded from everybody on a farm, not affiliated with nobody. You can get it from her for whatever it was she's asking us to trade for.
100%, yeah.
Let's keep people like that in mind too. There are people not in tribes who are more than capable of doing it.
100%. Alice would have easily have traded.
There's also people who are not in tribes that are not capable of doing it.
But that's why I mentioned Dal. Okay,
Yeah.
and then you distribute it to the people that aren't in tribes. There are ways
Listen
around
to me.
It's
This
not-
is basic economics.
good Lord.
If you're going to distribute to everyone, then the world is still the same. The world is still destructive in its sense.
I can't agree with that.
Then the Mallrats have no playing field, and they're back to starving like day one.
They've been having no playing field and back to starving since day one. As it is, they've struggled anyway.
So then why wouldn't you capitalize on it?
Because people are dying. The whole world is dying.
How are you going to capitalize when everybody dies? How are you going to capitalize when everybody's dead?
Capitalize on people being dead.
That's not a thing. Why are we even having this argument right now? This is asinine.
Exactly, because you also got to look at another thing right now. As much as I don't like this character, Lex knows what it's like to be on the brink of death, and as awful a person as Lex is, he's not going to want other people to have to go through that. Now, he's got to go through it himself.
No.
So there's got to be a point where if they wanted to do something like that, he's going to put his foot down and say, Bray, I don't think so. For once, you're going to do my way, what I want, they deserve it. It comes from somebody who knows about it. Are you going to listen to your little tart, or are you going to listen to me, pretty boy? So that's how I see that playing out. And Lex would go off and do it on his own anyway, because he knows what it's like. It's a trigger for him, whether he wants to admit it or not. Either way, people are going to be getting it because they need it, because he knows what it's like. Just never got to see it happen.
They should get it anyway. I don't understand what the issue is.
Do I? I'm just throwing it out there.
Listen, I'm just saying, yes, we don't want people to die. We want them to be safe. We want to give them the antidote. But if we give it to them, how are we going to stay alive?
He's saying that the Mallrats will not survive because they won't be able to capitalize off the other tribes.
But they'd find food like normal. Like Bray would scout for
Like
food.
they always have.
They always have.
Like,
Forget
and-
virus. That's just a level playing field now. So nothing would be different.
And think about this. The Mallrats have the antidote. They don't have to give it out to everybody. They choose to give it out. Okay? That makes them, I don't want to say better, but it makes them good people.
Good people, yeah.
Trustworthy, if you will. It gives them a name.
Does it?
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it does give them the name of being the saviors.
Someone who thinks about other people, yeah.
Right.
No, you guys are banking off that people are intelligent enough to understand.
But they are.
The city is not intelligent enough to understand that. And we've seen from past future episodes that they don't care how good intentioned the Mallrats are.
We see in future episodes that it also works.
Yeah.
Because the Mallrats thrive. They thrive. So you can't tell me that we don't see it, because it does happen.
You're asking a question about capitalizing and getting gain in a world right now with no currency, no barter system in place. So I'm not getting why it's an issue right now, because none of that's established. They'll trade whoever wants to trade. There's no system in place right now. They're not going to think about the system in place. They're going to think about the antidote.
Yeah, the antidote is the playing field. You go to what is in high demand, and it is someone's life. So you just trade it just for basic food.
Which is absolutely disgusting.
You
shouldn't
can't
gamble
trade people's
with-
lives.
You can't
You're not-
do that. That is
You're trading
gross.
the antidote.
That's
Even in the tribe,
That's
even in the
100%
tribe,
that's creed.
you can't. You can't. No, that is never how they've been, and we see that in the future. They are very consistent with this.
Of course, yes. They're very consistent with that.
That's anti-Morat. You can't.
I'm just saying that hasn't done anything well for them.
So far, but we are in the second episode of the second season.
Okay, fine. Let's jump ahead. It does so much for the Morats. It puts them in a prime place.
So
they get
much.
to be, like, central figures in the city. They get to become the figureheads. They get to appoint Lex as city sheriff. There's so much.
We open a market.
All that lasts
Come on,
for
you
like
can't say it
20
doesn't.
episodes.
No,
It doesn't. No,
nothing. Everyone thinks of the Morats suddenly. Like,
The tech was not arrived, it would have kept going.
come on.
Now, the Morats have never been known to be like, give me some food so you can keep living. No, that's not their. That's never been their way.
No.
Anyway, okay. What do I think of Lex lying or Bray lying to Lex? I think that he made the right choice. Okay.
So do I.
Obviously, you know, Lex is in very early stages. They've seen him progress. Okay. They've seen what it happens. They are banking on Jack figuring out this formula, and this is the only hope that they think that they have. You know, so he wants to save Lex. You know what I mean? But he knows that this is the only possible way that he can make it happen.
Yeah, I always wondered if one thought did cross Bray's mind at that point. If Lex might be showing symptoms again, keeping this last vial for Jack to test means they all might get a second dose.
Yeah, that too, you know, for sure. Because if Lex obviously needs a second dose or needs multiple doses, then
everyone does.
Yeah.
Wait a second. All right, never mind. I don't want to talk in circles, but I just feel that if you don't have enough of the antidote and you just giving it to people without anything, doesn't that do more harm for you and for the other people rather than just trying to at least maybe get some type of capital from it?
Oh, okay. No, absolutely. Them giving it out like they did so absentmindedly, like whatever, it's fine, was very, very like
stupid,
irresponsible. Yes. Okay. Like they don't know that Tai-San has the antidote formula. They don't know if they're going to be able to find it. Okay. So no, that was that wasn't smart at all. But it goes back to Tai-San knowing what it is. Okay. And holding on to it and keeping it to herself. Where I
But tell me, what's a better idea? You just giving a limited supply of the virus to people and just saying, hey, free for all, first come, first serve. Or, you know, you at least trying to get something back from it.
They should have not given it to anybody until they were able to figure out if they could make more. That's what should have happened. It shouldn't have been, well, we have this, so you got to give us this. That's not the way it ever should have gone down. They should have waited until they knew they could make more.
I agree.
I do get why they went outside with it immediately, because they've seen how quickly this virus kills.
Yeah, no, I understand why they did it too. It just was really not the smartest choice.
No,
it wasn't well planned out how they went about it.
No, there was no plan.
And exactly, but it wasn't really well thought out. And like, I get that they want to help the city, and without thinking that the word's going to spread, they have something. But they lying to Lex was the best thing for everybody, because at the end of the day, Lex is selfish and would drink that whole vial.
Would have.
They have nothing, because Lex is only thinking about Lex at this moment. Not showing physical signs, Bray's not seeing it. It's a judgment call in the moment he made the right call.
Yeah.
They're trying to keep a little bit left for somebody to figure out how to make more.
Yeah.
It shows some faith in Jack, because originally his first response was, well, maybe they can figure it out. Jack and Dal.
Mm-hmm.
Are we putting too much faith in Jack? Is he really?
So.
Is he really shown that he's that smart to do something like that?
I think so far,
he's the closest thing they have to a scientist.
Yes, I think so far with what we've been given in the show, he is the closest thing we've got to being able to.
I understand he's the closest thing we got, but that's as if we're all in a tribe right now, and I told you, hey, I made a volcano science project when I was a kid, and they're like, all right, you're going to be in charge of this antidote.
Oh my god.
No.
No, it's not.
No,
No,
Jack
come
has
on. That isn't
shown-
even a comparison.
And
Come
Jack
on.
has shown that he has skills.
I mean, I remember the science thing he did for the Gathering. I remember that.
But don't sit there and deny it, okay? Like, he's the one that helps provide power. He's the one that helped provide water. Like, where do you think they would be if Jack wasn't there?
Yeah, sorry.
Like, him and Dal together did this. So don't sit and downplay what he's accomplished for the tribe.
Where would they be without Jack? The same place they are.
No.
Well, what Maggie and Sabine is saying, though, Jack's the closest thing they've had to getting close to a scientist who's come up with so much. I'll bring up what I mentioned earlier about Tysan. They still don't know anything about her. She's so into this holistic medicine. I wouldn't even think, hey, maybe she knows. Wouldn't expect that Tysan would want anything to do with making a virus or want knowledge about it because it's not holistic. They don't know if it is or not, so they're going to assume it's not. Well, I wouldn't have turned to Tysan. I'd go to Jack, who's probably the most clever of the tribe and the smartest right now. So they're not over-reliant on Jack. He's the go-to guy. They're not putting too much faith in him. They're not downplaying his smarts either. That's who I'd turn to if I didn't know Tysan knew any of this. Because I just think, oh, she's all mushrooms and herbs. Let's break this all down. Jack could look stuff up on the computer. He's shown he knows how his proficiency.
Well, and they found this in a scientific, like, wherever it was like a science building, right? Like, they're not going to think that it's just some herbs thrown together.
Yeah.
They're going to assume it's going to be something that a scientist.
That's difficult. Yeah.
Yes.
And well, Jack is the closest thing to that. I mean,
It is.
it's not Ryan's skill level. It's not KC's either.
Of course
No.
not.
And Dal probably wouldn't know much about it because he's more the medicine end, not the science end of things. It's essentially Jack's role. Jack's essential title is the mad scientist. That's who I'd go to. Tysan is girls on a spiritual journey.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, my vote goes for scientist over space cadet.
Exactly.
Sure.
Okay, just to finish off, and what's everyone's thoughts about the possibility that the antidote needed multiple doses? Did that shock you at all?
No, I think it makes more sense than it being a cure-all. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
If it just needed one dose,
Yeah.
we would have seen adults.
Exactly.
I think so, yes.
I always expect it to be a one done, one for the dramatic effect, and two for the fact that as one and done, the adults would not have died.
Right.
Multiple doses definitely makes sense. Like in any pandemic, any vaccination you look at, a lot of them for a longer time were one and done. We're not one and done. There are multiples, even now. So it makes sense in the future it would be that.
Yeah.
It's too convenient for a one and done.
That makes sense. That is 2 doses, but I also want to know personally how much it factors into like how healthy the person is, how I guess maybe just genetics of just certain things.
Yeah, but at this point in time, with the world being what it is at that point in Tribe World, there is no way that genetics or health are anything they will be able to look into.
And I think we have to assume that it affects everyone the same. Because it killed everyone.
I agree.
So,
you know what I mean?
Sure, some people might die quicker.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Or have a more severe response. But yeah,
I think Endgame is death, no matter what.
Yeah.
And on that cheery note, let's bring Series 2, Episode 2 to a close. Thank you very much to the panel and to our special guest podcaster of the day, Chad. If you are to be like Chad and take part in a future episode of Conversation on Eagle Mountain, then you can fill out our form over on our website, thetribe.co.uk, or send us a message over on our Facebook page. So we'll see you next time for Season 2, Episode 3. So until then, bye.
Bye.
Later.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.